What I see happening today is that despite the best efforts of parents, many don't have a roof over their heads, there isn't always food on the table, and children's education suffers, leaving them without the opportunities that many of us over the years have taken for granted. The figures released by the Salvation Army this week speak for themselves. 1 in 100 Kiwis are classed as homeless because they are living in unsafe or unsuitable living conditions. 1 in 100. 212,000 New Zealand children live in income poverty. That's 8% of New Zealand children who face severe material hardship, and 155,000 New Zealand children who live in households that go without 7 or more key things that they need. 155,000 children. Thank goodness for the Salvation Army. Each year, the Salvation Army assists more than 120,000 people across New Zealand through a wide range of social services. And last year, my daughter Mai and I saw this firsthand and saw the difference it makes firsthand when we spent a morning out at Royal Oak helping to pack the Christmas parcels. And those Christmas parcels meant everything for those families who were struggling at such a stressful time. It also had quite a profound effect on my daughter. She's talked about it, quite a lot since. Still expected a Christmas present, of course, but it was great for her to see. For many of those recipients of the more than 56,000 food parcels given out last year, or any of the other incredible services offered by the Salvation Army, I'm sure the experience was more than just profound. I think for many it's been life-changing. Now, in a moment, I'll introduce you to a man who, well, his life's definitely changed. Nathan Rakuraku's story is remarkable. He was on P for 15 years. He spent 3 years in prison for aggravated robbery. He's only 28. But what a life he has in front of him now. How did he turn it around? And how did the Salvation Army help him? Nathan will be joining me as part of a panel discussion looking at poverty in New Zealand shortly. And I'll also be joined by Sue Ellis, a Salvation Army employee who's worked at the front line of our community ministries for many years and has, together with her husband Rod, supported Nathan on his journey from addictions and other challenges to the position of strength, hope and confidence we see in him today. So that's more of a community perspective. And then completing the panel and looking at poverty from a macro level will be Lieutenant Colonel Rod Carey, Secretary for Program, responsible for all the Salvation Army social services, including community ministries, addiction services, social housing, education and employment, emergency services, as well as youth and children's programs. We talk about 15 years on P, 3 years in prison, and this is still very fresh. What do you think about where you are now?
I feel it's a little bit surreal. It's overwhelming. Have to reassure myself to believe that that's me and where I am now, from where I've come from.
I've really enjoyed spending some time with you and hearing your story. And one of the things, when you talk about addicts and you talk about, you often hear, they had to hit rock bottom before they could, come back up again, that kind of thing. But you told me rock bottom was like every second week or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, because your emotions are heightened, your feelings are heightened when you're using methamphetamine, and so yeah, you could have a bad day, and that can really send you spiraling down. For me, rock bottom was below rock bottom, because when you're at rock bottom, you're still able to stand, even though you're at the bottom. But when you're below rock bottom, it's like an endless pit that's what scared me to the point where I made the decision to change my life.
And it was hope.
Yes.
That made you change your life.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I had hope that I could remove myself from falling down that endless black hole.
I mean, it's easy to sit here and say that, but how do you do that? I mean, where do you even start to do that?
How I did it was frightening to the point where I almost lost my mental stability. And so for me to go through that, I realised quick smart that I had to make a decision whether also belief in God. I had to make a decision whether I'm going to believe in God and move forward or not and carry on going down.
And obviously Ayla was a big part of that too, and to see these guys together, it's an absolute love story. It fills your heart when you see how supportive they are of each other, but that was a big part of it too.
Yes, definitely was. Normally the male's the rock in relationships, but I think she was my rock at one point there. Because,
I don't think anyone here thinks the males are the rock in relationship.
well,
See the women out there going, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah, no. Her support was just made me carry on. She'd been around me whilst I was doing everything, and she still supported me after that. She still supported me while I was in a mental mess as well.
One of the other things that Ayla was able to bring to you, I guess, was the Salvation Army, because she'd used the Salvation Army services in the past.
Yes.
How crucial was that at that time for you?
For her to have been through the Salvation Army before she had met me was perfect for what we needed, because we live in a home, we have a roof over our head, and that was through Salvation Army, and all of what I do now is more or less in the eyes of Salvation Army. I do it like that so that it keeps me safe, it keeps me away from where I've come from.
Sue, I mean, this is what it's all about, isn't it? Surely this is what you do this job for.
Absolutely, and I realise that all of us are only one conversation or one phone call away from life change. None of us are secure, and we get to, I guess, experience that at the front line. We accept everyone at the point of their need, and that's, I think, the thing that gets me up in the morning and drives me. And some people just need that second chance, and we saw something in this beautiful family that is really amazing and transformational.
You've only got to see Sue and Rod with Nathan and Ayla to know what an investment this is, not just at an army level, but at a personal level, and that's the key here. I think that's the key for your people and what they do. Tell me the difference it's made to you, both as parents, and how that's manifested itself with your children.
I just see the subtle differences that they like in their attitudes. Kids' attitudes can be up and down, but when they're little, but they have a lot more respect, and I think it's come from the respect that me and Ayla have found for ourselves.
And that's the thing, I guess, isn't it? Because that's the future, which I think is just such a brilliant way of rounding out this panel discussion. Rod, thank you very much. Sue, thank you. Nathan, give them all a big round of applause, please.